Happy Valentine's Day, everybody, and welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Ryan Durden, and today we have a Valentine's Day special. So, what better guest to have than somebody who's a relationship expert for Valentine's Day, right? So, him and his wife actually have a business that they've been working on for the past 3 years, helping couples get through tough times in their relationship. So he's going to give us some of his strategies and kind of what he does in his field and what makes him an expert in relationships. So thank you guys again for tuning in, and I hope you guys enjoy the show.
So we don't give advice, we ask the right questions, and you come up with the answers, because it will be your answer that you will live with, and that you do not ask family and friends for advice because they're biased. Talk about what it is that needs to be talked about, address it, and understand it's two different perspectives, two different backgrounds, two different cultures, two different upbringings. When you understand that, your relationship will be better.
So without further ado, I want to welcome you to the show, Joshua. Just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself and what you guys do.
Hey, well, thank you so much, Ryan, man. It's an honor to be here on your show. I really appreciate it, and all your listeners and viewers out there. And like Ryan said, my name is Joshua Richey, and I'm a relationship expert. My wife and I, she couldn't make it today, got a little headache, so she couldn't make it. But a little bit about me, and just a quick about me and who I am. I grew up without a father, and I didn't understand relationships. I didn't know how to treat women. I didn't know how to be a man. I didn't understand all that. It's because I never had a father. I never had anybody to model, to show me how to do those things. So I saw a lot of bad relationships. I was in a lot of bad relationships. And I used to be a cheater and a player and just hurting women's heart, and didn't understand who I was. I was insecure, had low self-esteem, and I was hiding behind masks because I was in special ed classes from 2nd grade through 12th grade. So I had a jacket, I was labeled, I was judged, and I just didn't know who I was. The only thing that I could do is just try to get love and get worth from having multiple girls and cheating on women and doing those things, because I didn't know any different. Mm-hmm. And what I had to do was just, once I figured out who I really was and started loving myself, started respecting myself, and then that moved on forward to my life. And I was able to marry my wife after knowing her for 55 days. And the rest of history.
So what was the turning point for you? So what was like, this is enough. I have to, stop being a player and start, committing to my relationships.
It was all about me. Because every time that it would happen, and I was going to either meet with a different girl or whatever I was doing, I was like, why am I going to do this? This is crazy. I shouldn't even be doing this. I have a girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And then in the act, I was like, wow, I felt terribly bad, and I didn't feel good about it. And then eventually it just caught up with me. And it was like, I said, enough is enough. I had enough. And I sit down, and I was still with myself. I was calm. I did my breathing, and I just got relaxed. And I said, this is it. No more. I'm not going to do it anymore.
Wow. So what, when you go out on stage and you talk about relationships, like where do you start usually?
Well, we start with the root cause, because it's always a root cause behind what's going on. That's what makes my wife and I different from anybody else or anybody that's doing whatever, not judging them, but we're just different, and we just believe we're different because we go for the root cause. Like the root cause was, for me, is my environment. So as well as I do, environment shapes you. The environment that I was in, I was raised in an environment with a lot of violence, a lot of drugs, and a lot of alcohol, a lot of gangs, a lot of those things that I grew up in, and that environment shaped me. I never did any drugs in my life or even drank any alcohol in my life because I didn't want that. But the environment shaped me to who I was becoming. And that's all I knew, and that's all I wanted to do, was just feel like I needed to have more girls and more women. So we attacked the root cause of the issue, not the effects. The effects from that was me just being a player and a cheater. But what was the cause for me being a player and a cheater? And that's what we did that.
Okay. And so when you do like one-on-one coaching with people, or do you just speak in front of people?
Yeah, we do one-on-one as well. We also do premarital coaching. We also have some clients that we work with that I'm a minister, so I can marry a couple if need to be. And so we do premarital coaching to make sure not the kids, but make sure that the couple are really committed to each other and they know what they're getting into, and we help them and we coach them through what it is that they really are seeing or not seeing, and just being able to be there. And then also I will officiate the wedding when the wedding comes.
Okay. And being a relationships expert, what do you think is the number one root cause for divorce or split up or breakup?
Well, my wife and I, we were just talking about this the other day, and it's really, it's the main points of this is we all have a physical attraction to partner or to someone, and it starts with that. So physical attraction means you have to bring some sexuality into it, and then you have to bring some spirituality into it. Then you have some psychology behind that as well. When all these things are not in order, and then you just only going for the physical part, the sexual part, eventually it's not going to work. If you have just one, like you have the spiritual part, eventually you're going to break up a divorce. If you're not able to communicate effectively with each other, if you're not transparent and you're not open, you don't ask the right questions. You know as well as I do, Ryan, that if you're getting ready to go and meet with a girl, and you're sitting down, you say, man, I want to ask this question. Then you go and ask your friends, man, you think I should ask her this question? You think I should be asking her this? You think I should be talking about this right now? I'm like, heck no, you're going to run her off. And the vice versa. The girls are doing the same thing to their friends. And they're saying, girl, you think I should ask him this? Girl, you think I should talk about this right now? No, you're going to run him off. It's too early. But my wife and I, we didn't do that. And that's what we coach people to ask the question. If you ask the question and that person leaves you or ghost you or whatever they do to you, they're not the person for you. Ask the right questions and be able to be fully engaged and transparent, vulnerable when you're having a conversation with that person.
Right. And has there been any times where you are doing like counseling for a couple, and you're just like, you two shouldn't be together. Like it's just toxic. It's not going to work. Has that ever happened in your line of field?
No, because I mean that's just funny that you asked that, because the first thing about us is we're different from counselors, therapists, and so we don't give advice.
Okay.
And that's our main focus, is not to give advice, because advice is bias. If I give you advice, that would be advice that I would do in your situation. And then eventually you're going to do what you want to do anyways.
Right.
So advice doesn't work. And we there's so many studies and research behind this that advice doesn't work. What we do is we ask you the right questions and we help you come up with the answers yourself. Like if you had an issue, say we have a couple that we just worked with last night. They're having an issue with communicating. Okay, where's the issue coming from? And I want to leave because I can't communicate with him. Every time we talk it's a fight and I'm ready just to leave. He gets just so aggressively angry, mad at me. I can't take it anymore. Yeah. And we say, okay, well, what's going on with this? Now, why would you want to leave? And then we just ask these right questions. And now we got them together. And that was just one time last night. We resolved it. She didn't leave. They didn't get a divorce, or they're not going to break up. But the more and more we're with them, the more and more they will see. So we don't give advice. We ask the right questions, and you come up with the answers, because it will be your answer that you will live with and that you will be more to do in the long run.
Right. Okay. I like it. And do you guys do have a specific amount of clients that you guys take on, or are you guys just try to make time for as many people as possible?
And that's always, because our clients are priorities to us, and we never want to overwhelm ourselves. And we do that to ourselves, and we're not 100% to our clients. So we have a certain number of couples that we work with. We have a certain number of individuals that we work with. So I have my individuals, my wife has her individuals, and we also have our programs. So we have designated time enough for all of our clients, because they're all priorities, and we don't want to just make just like herding cattle or herding sheep. We don't want to. They're not numbers to us. They're like family to us, and they're priority to us. So we don't have them coming in like cattle and all that type of stuff. So we make sure we have a set number for that.
Okay. And then is it customizable? Like I know, people in different parts of their relationship, like somebody just starting out in a relationship is probably going to be a little different than somebody who's been married for 50 years. What do you think is the difference, like the way that you guys approach those two different types of people? And do you see more this two-part question. And do you
Yeah.
see more older people trying to get help, or do you see more younger people?
Hey, that's a powerful questions right there. Two part is nice because that's just perfect how you explain that and broke it down too. But yes, I mean, the age difference are always going to be different. And we have a couple that's coming in that's really new and they've been together. Say they've been together for 5 years and they've just only been married for one, or they're ready to get married. And so that conversation that we're going to have with them are going to be totally different than a couple that we have for 26 years married and has been divorced and ready to get back together. And so those conversations will be completely different because we will want to know where they're at and what happened and why did this happen. And then the new couples, okay, are you sure that this is what you want to do? Do you know what you're getting into? Do you know what this means when you're talking about being married?
Mm-hmm.
And then the second part of that is if we have a couple that got divorced and we work with them and now they're happily married again,
Nice.
back married again and back involved with each other. And this is an older couple, like older, and they were married for like 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's just, we have those different age brackets and we see a lot, a more of the older crowd wanting to get help than the younger because they think they know it all.
Right. I definitely can see that. And so let's just say, let's throw kids in the mix a little bit. So do you think that, people that have kids, they should work a little bit harder than people that don't? Or do you think that kids shouldn't even be, involved in the actual relationship? What's your thought process on that?
Great question, man. That's a great question. And it sounds, and when I say this is going to sound really crazy and a lot of people might not understand it, but I'm will explain it too. The reason behind this is when you're married and you have kids, your marriage is number one.
Mm-hmm.
And then the kids come next. And when you get that and you understand that, because there's so many couples that we have worked with that and this is how it works, is the woman, she goes to the kids and the man goes to work.
Mm-hmm.
So the man is like a visitor in the house because the man goes to work all day. He comes home for a couple hours, he's tired, and then he wants to go to bed in the morning. He gets up and go to work and repeats that. And the woman, she cooks dinner, she picks up from school, she takes to school, she's nurturing, she does the homework, she sits down, she understands all the pain, she bandages, she does all these different things for that child. And then when the husband and wife are going out on a date, guess what happens? The wife doesn't want the babysitter to be with the kids too long.
Right.
So the wife is ready to leave the date, and the husband's like, are you serious? This is our time together, this is our time out. And it's all confusions, and they want to feud, they get frustrated with each other. A lot of things happening because the man wants to be out on a date with his wife, he wants to be fully present and engaged, but the wife is worried about the kids because the kids are with either her mom or dad or his mom and dad. Mm-hmm. Or they have a youngster or they have a babysitter watching the kids, and she's ready to get home to that. So you have to get those two in order and know what's priority and know what's not, because kids are a priority, but the marriage is the main focus. If the marriage is healthy and good, the kids will be healthy and good, and the family will be 100% healthy.
Nice. I like it. So right now, are you currently looking for clients, or are you guys fully booked up?
No, we still have room for about three. I think we have room for about three. I think it's four now. Four, because we had a couple clients graduate out of the program. But we have room for 4 couples, and I have some room left in my private, and my wife also has room in her private, and she's also doing a program this month, that's launching this month. So yes, we do have some room.
And then, have you had anybody that like their marriage is going good, but they just want to make it better? Have you ever had anybody like that?
Hey, because a lot of people will come to our go comment on our posts. We'll be talking about or doing the video, and they say, well, my marriage is good, and I would love to see it, a little better. And I was like, okay, what do you mean by a little better? And what does that mean? Because I'm a great listener. I said, what do you mean by a little better?
Yeah.
Well, there's some things that, when we're communicating, I just don't feel like we're all the way there. And sometimes I suppress, and sometimes he suppresses his whatever. And we say, okay, yes, all relationships can be better. If you're okay, you can get good. If you're good, you can get better. And
That's right.
there's always blind spots that you can't see. And my
Mm-hmm.
wife and I, we have blind spots. Even though we're relationship coaches, we also have coaches that can point out and show us our blind spots that we can't see.
Right.
And just like driving in the car, you have blind spots. So yes, we get those a lot. And that's just a session. That's just one session that we
Right.
figured out their blind spots and helped them out. Now their relationship is golden.
That's awesome. So for the listeners, if you are going through some tough times with your marriage, or if your marriage is good, reach out to Joshua and Ivana, and they'll help you, get to where you want to be in your relationship. Josh, where can people find you? Do you have a website or?
Yeah, we do have a website, and everything is Richey's Coaching on social media. It's all Richey's Coaching, RICHEY.
Okay.
S is Richey's Coaching, and then the website is coachrichey.com.
Awesome. And so we'll put that in the link so people can get in contact with you, and hopefully you can generate some new business there.
Yes.
Also, if you want to leave just a quick advice, like what's your go-to like slogan or advice that you give to everybody, what would you leave with the audience?
Yes, I absolutely, and I'm glad you asked that, because I love giving this, and this is it's really not advice, it's really a statement, but it is advice.
Mm-hmm.
But when you sit down with your partner, and what my wife and I, we call it have an executive meeting.
Mm-hmm.
When you sit down and have an executive meeting, you take your emotions out of the conversation, you take your emotions out of whatever is going on, and you sit down with both of you, two people that love each other, and you sit down and have an executive meeting at the table, and you share your feelings and you share what's going on without interruption, without anger, without frustration. And once you're able to do that, your relationship and whatever it is that you're talking about, discussing, will be a thing of the past. It will no longer affect you. It will no longer hurt you. It will no longer put you in pain. It will no longer have you going out to ask information from family or friends. And that's the worst thing you can do. And that's what I can leave your audience and your listening viewers with, is do not ask family and friends for advice, because they're biased only to you, and they don't care about your partner. So sit down and have that executive meeting with your partner. Talk about what it is that needs to be talked about. Address it and understand it's two different perspectives, two different backgrounds, two different cultures, two different upbringings. When you understand that, your relationship will be better.
That's powerful, man. That's really powerful. If you're in a relationship, or if you want to get into a relationship, this is your man, Joshua, and his wife, Ivana. You guys got to go to them and get your relationship in order. Because if you don't have your relationship in order, your life's not in order. Relationships are key. So I want to thank you again, Joshua, and we'll talk soon.
Hey, thank you so much, Brian, man. I appreciate it. You have a good one, bro.
All right, man. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked the video, please like the post, comment below, and I encourage you to reach out to Joshua if you're going through tough times in your relationship. Remember that if you work at it, and if you sit down and actually talk to each other, you guys can figure it out. I wish you the best of luck, and I hope that you guys have a wonderful Valentine's Day. Much love. Peace.